We are back with yet another edition of the Shadowfire Promotions, Front Row Ringside, and we are actually on MTV right now. Yes, we have Melody Trouble Vixen, MTV from Glow. Now, you know, you were MTV when MTV still showed music television.
That's right. But Trouble's my middle name. So.
There are a lot of people that may be able to claim that, but you were the original one that had Trouble as your middle name.
That's right.
Yeah, your parents obviously said, oh man, she's Trouble.
Well, my producer did, that's for sure.
So where did you grow up, first off?
Born in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, so this is a homecoming to you.
It really is. And when I worked here in the 80s, I was living like 2 blocks from where I was born.
Nice.
Yeah, Women's Hospital, right on Eastern.
So what did you do before you got involved in wrestling, when you were working here in Vegas?
Yeah, I was an actress.
Oh, you were already...
And a musician,
okay.
Los Angeles musician, in a band called Ruby Slippers.
Oh, very, very Wizard of Oz.
Very Wizard of Oz. It was a glitter band. We sang and just had fun. We did glitter bombs on stage for the audience. It was fun.
So going and being on something like Glow with the gimmick that you were given was very representative of reality for you at that time.
Well, Matt Simber is a genius, and he took, when he was creating characters, he would see what you did and who you were, and the easiest thing was to create a character out of who you already were, because a lot of these girls were not actresses. They were athletes, or they just had talent. And it was easier for them to play something that they knew, something familiar. So, since I was a rock and roll musician and an actress, I got to be the rock star who wrestled.
So you were before there was Man Mountain Rock with the guitar, or Hulk Hogan with the belt guitar. There was MTV.
With my guitar, Elvis. I played the hits on people's head in the ring.
Before the Honky Tonk Man.
Before Honky Tonk. Well, Honky Tonk was kind of at the same time, but he was country.
Yeah, he was rockabilly. Yeah,
kind of a country.
His country hit, Hunka Hunka Honky Love.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever try to collaborate and write a few songs? Exchange playing tips on the guitar.
No. The first time I met him was here at CAC.
Oh, really?
He's a very nice man. I really enjoyed it. I love the Ring of Friendship. I just can't tell you how much fun it is being here with people who understand. We know and love what we do, and it's a camaraderie like nothing other, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
That's terrific, and we're all happy to have you here because, hey, I think that for a lot of people, in my age group certainly, but other people I've seen across different generations, even if they didn't watch Glow in the 80s, it's become kind of an iconic thing where people recognize it. It's like, oh, Glow, yeah, I remember that, They don't necessarily have to be watching the 80s, just become this thing that everyone knows about.
Well, people need to come because it's one of the only places where wrestling stars and wrestling fans can both join the organization and both be together and have fun and hang out and have a good time.
And see all the girls from Glow.
That's right.
Now, how did you get the notice about Glow, the audition?
I was going to a seafood broiler audition. Do you remember? Seafood broiler was, I think, Red Lobster became seafood broiler.
Okay.
Seafood broiler became Red Lobster. Right? Yes. I know. And I would go to commercial auditions because that's what I was out in LA doing.
Right. Makes sense.
So, I went to the casting office and did the seafood broiler audition. And then what I liked to do whenever I got into a casting office was to see whatever auditions were going on and see if I could possibly, maybe have a part. So I would go sign my name up on the roster, and then they'd call me, and, I'd audition. Well, Glow was doing that, and I was thinking, Glow's a nationally syndicated television show. It's number 1 in its category, and it's on 2 nights a week, and I could possibly have a principal role. Okay, I'll get talk to the producer. Why not? And I mean, I never, ever, if you would have told me back then that I would become part of the first women's wrestling league in history, I would have said, you crazy. Why would I be a wrestler? But I love it. When I got there, Matt Simber, I'm going to do a best Matt Simber voice. He says, he looked at my book and my photo book and talked to me for a while and said, well, I'm going to invite you to come to Vegas. You can come, but I think you're going to get your ass kicked, but you're welcome to come. And I'm thinking, oh, he doesn't know me.
You're athletic growing up?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I grew up with high school on Maui, Hawaii, and I was in an outrigger canoe club.
Oh, okay.
And in my earlier years on a ranch after I only lived in Vegas until I was 5, then we moved to northern Nevada in the Sierras, and I lived on a ranch, and we had horses, pigs, chickens, and I was a farm or ranch girl, So I had a brother, and we used to play stuntman. So when I got to the ring, a lot of these were the same things my brother and I used to do. We'd throw each other around and do dive forward rolls and three-quarter rolls, and so it was very familiar territory. And I'm telling you, once I got in the ring and started wrestling, that was it. I was hooked. It's some of the most fun I've ever had. Still the most fun I've ever had in my life.
I hear that from a lot of wrestlers. They say, when they first started training and they took their first bump, they're just like, this is it.
Yeah. I mean, I never ever wanted to stop. I mean, it was, how much fun can you have? Not only can you play a character and have a good time, but the physical contest is, it's just a good workout. A good way to work out, a good way to keep in shape, and I was in the best shape I was ever in my life. It was so much fun.
How many seasons did you do of Glow?
3, 4, and 5. People don't know that there was a 5th season that was cut together. And then we did like 2 or 3 pay-per-views, and I also did Stallone's Knockouts and Hollywood Hits. And whatever reunion shows we did, I got in the ring then too. So the last time I got in the ring was about 3 years ago.
So you're still semi-active?
Yeah, I really, because of arthritis, I don't want to take big bumps anymore.
Yeah.
But I could still do a whole match. Yes, I could. It would be a lot of character, but I could still do it. And every time I see someone wrestling, I want to do it. It's just...
You go out there and you see the match and you're like, what the hell was I wanted?
Well, I'm not so broken-hearted about it anymore, but I do want to. I would love to be able to get in the ring again. It just... Maybe one of these days if they find a cure for arthritis. But, you can only slam around. It's a young person's game. You can only slam around for so many years. But, I'm an author and a screenwriter, and I love to produce shows. So...
Now, you have a book available now, is that correct?
I do. I have a series called Banners of Avalon, and it's about the guardians of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, and they live in Avalon. The immortals of Avalon and how they take care of the planet, and it's fun. There's time travel and wizards and warriors, and it's all laughing at it. All different time periods.
So it's part of it is like a sword and sorcery, and part of it is historical, and part of it is time travel. A little bit of everything.
It's all fantasy, though. It's my brainchild. We're doing a little bit. Gotta turn that down. Thank you, Roxy. Thank you, dear. Roxy's so awesome.
She is.
She's my favorite Glow Biatch friend. Yeah.
And I love her cats.
She does. Oh, don't say that too loud. People will get the wrong impression. Yeah. The premise of my story is the guardian of Earth loses a fight with her nemesis, an evil sorcerer, and she gets caught in a time vortex for 86 years. And she falls to Earth. She's resting and recovering because Avalonians are immortals, but they're not invulnerable. They can die if they get wounded badly enough. So she has to rediscover who she is and her powers and her mission, and there's all kinds of adventure and people that help her do that. So, and then she has to continue trying to heal the earth and get it ready for this celestial event while preventing Aldonis, that's the evil source, from his rise to power. So
Now, when this idea came, did you just like wake up one morning and it was all there in your head, or did you kind of just note down?
I started thinking about this. Well, it's interesting. I was watching a Discovery Channel special on Copernicus, and I was absolutely floored at how he was able to understand the gravitational relationship of all the planets just from using a small telescope that's probably about the power of a magnifying glass now, you know.
All right.
And so I got this inspiration about, you know, the alignment of planets and how gravity is only held together by the turning of the Earth. If that changes, gravity changes and time changes. So that just got me. And when I do write this story, I do just open my mind up to the universe, and it flows to me. It's amazing how I'll start writing my characters, and they'll start doing things, and I'm just trying to keep up with them, writing it down.
Your mind is moving and at one speed, and the characters are kind of taking their own life.
And they do things, and I have to write them down, and they surprise me, the things that they do. It's amazing. It's good stuff. I love it. It's a magical way to write.
It kind of, as you're going along, it's kind of self-writing in a way.
It does. It does. And I wrote it originally as a 5-season television series, and I started shopping it around, and so many producers tried to take it from me that I said, I'm going to novelize it.
Right.
That way, there's no doubt as to creative rights. It's my story, and then I have a bunch of screenplays finished. I have the whole story marked out and written, you know, in draft form. All the storylines, I know where everything's going. And
Were you always a writer?
Yes.
Did you always have this ability to tell that type of story?
I wrote a lot of the raps for the girls in the original Glow Show. I'm an uncredited writer. I would sit there with Steve and write storylines. I wrote storylines for my matches. You know, I wrote, character businesses, and a lot of the raps they performed were mine. I mean, that I wrote for them.
Right. So, is Banners of Avalon, is that your first novel series?
It's my first novel series, yes.
And what other type, I mean, other than like screenwriting and that type of thing for television, in terms of books or anything, what other types of books have you done? Or is this like the first?
That's my first. I've written a lot of live theater. I work with a theater group called Brethren of the Coast, and it's a historical theater. And we've done a lot of street theater. I wrote a lot of, live scripts for that, for the live performances. So.
And you've got a pretty impressive resume in terms of, actress, author, all this stuff.
I'm an accredited screenwriter too for Femme to Action.
So in terms of acting, what type of roles have you done? Have you done anything on any, shows on television today? Or?
Back in the day, I would do small parts and bit parts, but, that was in the 80s, a long time ago. It's on my IMDb page, the stuff that I'm credited for. But, as far as live theater, I've done everything from Shakespeare to slapstick comedy, vaudeville type comedy. So
very, very Laurel Hardy, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I love physical comedy and where you tumble around and get into cat fights and things like that.
So with that, then Glow is right up your alley, because they're doing that. Americana Gets Pies in the Face, and California Doll, and Her Points to Ponder, and David McLean in the telephone booth.
Yes.
I still get ribbed. I mentioned it to Hollywood earlier on. I have a friend who ribs me all the time. I said, I'll go into my office, make a call or something. They'll be like, yeah, is that a phone booth on the corner? Like, get out of here. Go away.
Yeah. Well, what I'm doing now, I have a business that I'm trying to get off the ground, a publishing business. And having gone through self-publishing, I really, with the technology we have in this day and age, there's no reason why any author shouldn't be able to publish, market, and sell their own work with the technology we have. So myself, my brother who's a web developer, and my mom who is a business maven, we have invented it's a system to publish, market, and sell your own work. And we got a U.S. patent, which is no easy thing, because you have to prove to them you're original.
It's
And
a lot of paperwork, yeah.
yeah, but we got our patent, and we are doing a GoFundMe right now to get seed money to develop this website so that we can have any musical artist, a video artist, photographers, wrestling people, authors can self-publish very affordably and easily, and we also will have, there's a video forum so that you can have webinars, you can have debut with your audience and do question and answers live with them over webcasting, and they can market to a worldwide market, and it's deliverable. You can either do hard copy or you can deliver it through e-devices.
Right.
Yeah. So we're at, it's Indie E-Publishing. Let's see. The GoFundMe is, I had to read this, www.gofundme.com /INDI-E publishing. And it's also, if you go to my Facebook page, Eileen MTV Glow O'Hara, and if you go to my Facebook page, the links are all there. And
you also have a Twitter.
Yes, I have a Twitter. But the NDE Publishing, we're trying to raise $1 million to get this website, make it a reality.
So a very ambitious sort of a thing, but also
It's doable,
in terms of the seed money and getting off the ground. But it is a very doable thing, and there's a lot of people that don't know how to.
It is my mission to free artists from the tyranny of this chokehold the publishing industry has on the business. We don't need that. It's not necessary. We can all, publish, and I'm very passionate and adamant about that because it's doable. There's no reason, except for their greed, that they want to control the market. They shouldn't be able to. That's why we need to band together and make this a reality and publish everybody. Get everybody published, and because there's so many good artists out there. And that's one of the reasons, too, why I believe in the Ring of Friendship here at CAC, because it's a benevolent organization, and we're here to help each other.
The other wrestlers helping the wrestlers helping other wrestlers, the fans helping the wrestlers. They have later on, I know, at the banquet tomorrow night, they're having a raffle drawing for a championship belt that was made by I think Dave Milliken or Ricky Parks, one of the two. And I know that the money raised for that raffle is going to the benevolent fund at the CAC, which what that is, that helps any wrestlers who, especially the older generation, that wouldn't have had access to any sort of insurance or
Or
anything.
can't pay their bills, can't pay their lighting bill. And that's why I joined as a life member, because I believe in the benevolent organization. And that's why I want Indy to get off the ground and get going, because as soon as we do, I'm going to bring it to CAC and start doing the, start webcasting and get all this stuff, launched in the media too.
Well, that's a great concept to be able to say, hey, because a lot of people just don't know how to get themselves published.
And I know how. I'm a self-published. I'm an author and a producer, and
You're a Glow girl. You're going to be at Roxy Astor's Afterglow at Sea.
that's genius. Roxy's Afterglow fan party is genius. This woman brought this idea into fruition, and it's as she's listening, she's sticking her ear. I'll tell her that was a stroke of genius, and I'm so glad that she did this because it was her brainchild. I didn't know she had a brain, but it had a child. So she missed
And
that.
who did it have a child with?
I'm not sure. I just told him it was your brainchild. I didn't know you had a brain, but it had a child. So
I know.
yeah, he wanted to know who did it have a child with.
I don't know. And it's weird thing is, it's because of you. Hold on. I was at, we were on a radio show.
Yes.
And I mentioned something to you, but I wasn't ready to do.
And I made her do it.
The Kickstarter. So she goes, oh, why don't you talk about the Afterglow fan party? I'm like, shoot.
made her-
Okay,
I made
anyway,
her-
we're going to do a Kickstarter. So I think 3 days after that, I had the Kickstarter up.
Yep.
So she kind of put me in a corner.
I was the kick butter.
It was a Kickstarter.
She was the real Kickstarter. She was the
I
Kickstarter
actually,
to the
to be honest,
Kickstarter.
I ran the idea first to Gremlina, because I know that she's just like very, I can tell her anything, and I told her, and then she pushed it.
Yep.
So you can blame her
Because it's
too.
an absolutely brilliant idea. No one's done it, and it was so doable. Very easily done.
And it worked out good, right? Didn't it work out good?
Perfect.
And it was something else that I covered with Hollywood earlier. You know, with the Glow, you girls were not really encouraged to be friends and tell your real names to anyone.
No.
They were very much,
But
you were very much encouraged.
You know what about that? I understand why he wanted to immerse, because, like I said, a lot of those girls were not actresses. They didn't know how to play a character. And so he had to make them be the character in order to play the character.
Right.
But when something as iconic as and passionate as wrestling and wrestling fans, it's like the soap operas. Once you are that person, you're identified with them for the rest of your life. And I'm proud and honored to be MTV once and always and forever. There's not another MTV.
Well, what I was thinking of is that with keeping as a character, it made it much more difficult for the Afterglow to start, because hey, I don't know MTV's real name. You know, I don't know how do I find these people.
It was the documentary that got us all together. Those guys, Windows Pictures, Brad Thomason, what a wonderful man. They told that story with such a great heart. They got us all together, and we started reconnecting. We all connected on Facebook, and so it's kind of like a momentum started.
Right.
And once momentum started, it all went boom again. And I'm
then the CAC.
so happy. Well, no, I was
here.
going to CAC with Lightning when it was at the Sportsman's Lodge. And it was just really a meeting, you know. Just a dinner, nice dinner and a meeting back in the day. That was probably 20 years ago.
And now this is blown up too.
I love it. I love it. I'm so happy. So happy for all this. I'm so thankful and proud and happy to be a part of this. And keep
still
it,
be remembered as
well,
a TV.
Well,
Be remembered
yeah,
by the fans of
not
Glow.
just remembered, loved. And I love these people, and they love us. And it's the people the workers, the wrestlers, and the fans. It's wonderful. It's a big love fest, and I'm just very happy and grateful that it's still going on.
A lot of people very fondly look back at Glow and everyone that was involved with it.
I do too. It was so much fun. And I'm glad that I can still, you know, be under the banner.
Be under the big Glow banner.
My beautiful banners.
Yeah, they're very nice banners.
Yeah, it's fun.
So let's go and get all of our little plugs in on everything that you have here.
Okay. My novel, the first novel, Banners of Avalon, The Return of Elana. It is available. You can get hard copies on eBay, and I can autograph one for you. Or you can download the book on Amazon.com.
And if you download it, you can't autograph it.
No, but if they want, I can send them an autograph photo.
There you go.
Yeah.
How would they contact you to get an autographed book or an autographed photo?
On my Facebook page, Eileen MTV Glow O'Hara, and let's see, I have Facebook, and email is Melody Trouble Vixen @outlook.com, and then make sure you go to the GoFundMe.com/Indie Publishing and help us get this Indie Publishing up and running so that anyone can be published affordably, and let's revolutionize it. Let's kick the publishing door wide open, because it's unnecessary to keep a stranglehold on these beautiful artists. You know?
All right, well, thank you so much, MTV.
Thank you.
All right, so that was the last of our Glowcasts from the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion, the 51st Cauliflower Alley Club reunion out in Las Vegas. MTV, Melody Trouble Vixen. And if you have yet to get enough Glow, don't worry, there is more Glow on the way. We have Sunny the California Girl coming up, and we hope to get some more along the way. I was supposed to have gotten Lightning from Glow, but unfortunately I missed her. So we'll have to see who we can get along the way, and maybe we can get a couple more of the Glow Girls to do some stuff with the Shadowfire Promotions podcast, Front Row Ringside here. So let's talk about plugs for us. We've talked about MTV and her plugs, her book, which you should be able to get on Amazon, Banners of Avalon by E.F. O'Hara. And she has previously, during this podcast, she gave you her Facebook and her Instagram and all that good stuff, so make sure to listen to it again for her plugs. So let's talk about some of our stuff. Let's talk about Daniel Puder, the undefeated mixed martial artist, undefeated pro wrestler, the first ever $1 million Tough Enough champion. And he's got a new anti-bullying charity called My Life, My Power. And if you do shopping on Amazon, which pretty much everybody does at some point, go to smile.amazon.com and select My Life, My Power World and bookmark the link. So when you go shopping on Amazon, Amazon will donate, as Steve Austin would say, a few ducats to the charity. So that'd be real nice. The actual link is smile.amazon.com/ch/45-4095213. So bookmark the link and support Daniel Puder's anti-bullying charity, My Life, My Power, every time you go shopping on Amazon through Amazon Smile. Let's see. We've got Daniel Puder, of course, Nicholas Wadier of Wadier Entertainment. Nick is the person who is largely responsible for this podcast because he helped me get it set up, get this in iTunes, all that good stuff. And so he was a huge help technically with all this stuff. And he's got his own website, technopoly411.com. And he's got his own podcast, and he is everything you've always wanted to know about technology, web design, cameras, computers, everything else. Nick also helped us design certain portions of the Shadowfire Promotions website as well. So big thanks to Nick. I hope he listens to some of this stuff or gets a chance to download it from iTunes. But you definitely want to check out Technopoly 411. If you go to the Shadowfire Promotions website at sfpinkchicago.com, you click on affiliates and links, you'll see the banner for Technopoly 411. Make sure to check out Nick's stuff. My good buddies, the Wind Gypsies. These guys, power trio, classic power trio, guitar, bass, drums. We've got Nick Laramie on the guitar. We've got Neil Holmquist on drums, Ray Class on the bass. These guys have, if you go to their site, windgypsies.com, that's wind, G-Y-P-S-Y-S, windgypsies.com. These guys have shared the stage with so many big names in rock and roll. They do performances all the time, all over Illinois and Wisconsin and Indiana. So make sure to check them out. I only get to see these guys a couple of times a year, so I really relish when I can see them because, yeah, you know, they're really good, really great music, a lot of classic rock, a lot of classic oldies, some great stuff there. Another good friend of mine, Kimberly Cormican, she has a book that you can get through Kindle. It's called Whatever Makes You Blind, and I think she's got a second book out by now, but make sure to check her out. And just Google K.D. Cormican, that's C-O-R-M-I-C-A-N, and she should have her own site ready by now to go and download her book. So make sure you go and check her out and give her a couple of pennies for her book. It's a real good book, and I definitely recommend it, and not just because she's a friend of mine, but it actually was a very good book. I was looking at it, and when I looked, I'm like, I don't know what to make of this, but you know, I read it, and I was really pleasantly surprised at how good it really was. Let's see, we'll talk about mixed martial artists and pro wrestlers. You know, as I have said to many people that know me, I do running, I do marathons and such, and you know, it really, all the stuff, all the physicality between my time in the Marine Corps and everything else, it really takes a toll on you physically. And so a couple of years back, I was contemplating retiring because I was just hurt too bad. All the time spent on the road, sleeping in cars and all that for wrestling and then running and marathons and all that. But I went and discovered at the expo for one of the races, Chiro 1, chiropractics, and it really helped me. It added years back to my athletic career. So I wholeheartedly recommend them. I go to Chiro 1 of the Loop 2, which is downtown Chicago, Dr. Ed Gurovich. And, you know, I know a lot of people have their own opinions on chiropractic and stuff, but it really is a very good thing to do. will definitely, you can get, it's all about making you feel better and using the body to make you feel better. And for pro wrestlers and mixed martial artists, when you make your living getting thrown around and bumped around and punched in the face and all that stuff, especially in pro wrestling, neck and back injuries are common. So even if you're still active in your career, they can still help you feel a little better, giving you a therapeutic session just to make you feel better, and then they can work once your career is over at putting you back together the way you were supposed to be permanently. As far as some of the great merchandise from Shadowfire Promotions, you want to check out, we've got the Glow the Movie DVD, which has been signed by Lightning, Hollywood of Hollywood and Vine, Tulsa, who else signed it? MTV signed it, who you just heard in this podcast. I think I got Sunny to sign it, Sunny the California Girl. I don't remember who everyone. Little Egypt, I believe, signed it. So that's very, very cool. We've got one of our featured items is the Hitman Heart Wrestling with Shadows double disc DVD. It's 2 DVDs. It's the Hitman Heart Wrestling with Shadows plus the Life and Death of Owen Hart, plus has a special commentary from the director of the film, Paul J., who's now doing something called the Real News Network. But what makes this double DVD set special, when you get it through us, you get the original lobby posters for it. So these are things, when you see in the theaters, you go and see Coming Soon, and you see the little lobby posters in there of the different features that are playing or coming soon. We've got those. We've got one that is a representation of the cover to the original Wrestling with Shadows, and then we've got a second one that's a representation of the cover to the double disc 10th anniversary, 10th, right? 10th, 20th, 10th anniversary of Hitman Heart Wrestling with Shadows. So make sure to check that out, because your purchase of that DVD is $35. It's shipped in the U.S. and it includes both the DVD plus the 2 posters. So we're the only ones that can get you those posters. The posters are Shadowfire Promotion exclusive. So make sure to check that out. Contact us and let us know if you're interested in getting that, and we can arrange for wholesale deals. If you're another distributor and you want to talk about wholesale deals, we can arrange that. And I'll give you the information on how to contact me and arrange for everything. One of the really cool things we have, if you're into shoes, we've got the Cauliflower Alley Club Chuck Taylor high-top shoes. And these things are really, really cool. They've got all sorts of great pictures. I don't have the picture right in front of me right now, but I know they've got like Lou Thez and all sorts of other people. And I believe I measured, I think they're about $125. They are limited edition shoes, but it's very cool because a portion of the shoes goes back and supports the Cauliflower Alley Club benevolent fund, which helps wrestlers and fighters and people in the pro wrestling business who are kind of down in the luck. A lot of people, that don't have health insurance, that don't have work, that are struggling to make ends meet because their wrestling career really messed up their bodies at a time before these multi-million-dollar contracts and WWE taking care of you and making sure that you get the health care that you need. That just didn't happen in the 60s and the 70s. So there are a lot of guys, a lot of medical issues. So it's real good to get these shoes and help support that cause as well. We probably got a lot of other stuff too. We're slowly finishing up our website. It's a lot of work. The website at sfpinkchicago.com, SFP like Shadowfire Promotions, INC like Incorporated, Chicago.com. And we're wrapping that up. We're hoping to do it either by the end of this year or sometime early next year. But we keep acquiring so much new merchandise that it pushes back that release date while we add more sections to the site. But definitely check us out. So you've got our website at sfpinkchicago.com. And you can also get us on Facebook and Twitter. It's facebook.com/sfpinkchicago. It's twitter.com/sfpinkchicago. It's youtube.com/sfpinkchicago. We're also on Vimeo, another video sharing channel. guess what that address is? It's vimeo.com/SFP Inc. Chicago. If you want to chat on Instant Messenger, we're available on Skype, SFP Inc. Chicago, AOL Instant Messenger, SFP Inc. Chicago is the screen name for that. The screen name for Skype is SFP Inc. Chicago. We're doing a lot of work with Skype these days to get some more interviews. So, we're going to try and get these interviews, kind of crank them out. We haven't really done a lot of work with me personally talking for the Shadowfire Promotions podcast recently. I know there was a little talk. We talked a bit in the past about CM Punk's debut, and we talked a little bit about Brock Lesnar returning to the Octagon, but we kind of shelved a lot of the individual podcasts so we can start working more on both the website and also bringing you some of these interviews. And all this is really, really time-consuming. So that's why there's been the infrequency with it. We've got a lot of these podcasts are in the can. They're just waiting to be edited and get the images and everything so we can make a video of it. But again, it's really, really time-consuming for everything we do. It takes a lot of time. There's no real shortcut to this, unfortunately. Yahoo Messenger, we're also available there, but our screen name is slightly different there. It's SFP Inc. Chicago 2003, so the number is 2003. SFP Inc. Chicago 2003 for that. When we first started, the screen name SFP Inc. Chicago was taken, so we appended 2003 to it, which was the year that we set up the Yahoo Instant Messenger. So, you can check us all out there and check out all of our prior podcasts at YouTube and Vimeo at SFP Inc. Chicago. So youtube.com/SFP Inc. Chicago, Vimeo.com SFP Inc. Chicago. If you have a question, anything about a podcast topics for the future, anything you want addressed in a podcast, you can send an email to podcast@sfpincchicago.com. If you are looking to make a question about a purchase that you've either made or a pre-purchase question or anything like that, you can send an email to orders@sfpincchicago.com. If you are a wrestler or a mixed martial artist and you are looking to have Shadowfire Promotions distribute your merchandise, you can send an email to distribution@sfpincchicago.com. If you have now with the distribution, something that I want to mention with that is we do have a link specifically dealing with distributing your stuff. If you're a pro wrestler, if you're a mixed martial arts fighter, if you're a wrestling company, a mixed martial arts company, check out distribution.sfpincchicago.com/vendors-new.htm, and that will give you a little bit of background. So when you email us, you kind of know some of the questions you might ask might be answered in that section. So make sure you check that out before you email us. Anything else question-wise, you should probably just send a link to orders@sfpincchicago.com. If you have a wrestling or a mixed martial arts collection that you are interested in selling, you can drop me personally a line at gdennis@sfpincchicago.com, and I can go, when you email me, give me an idea of what you have, the type of condition it's in. If you have an idea of what price you're looking for, if you say, well, I want to go and looking for this price or whatever, then I can tell you right off if there's something that I might be interested in or not interested in terms of price. I do get a lot of WWF, WWE stuff, so I can tell you right now I'm neck deep in stuff to screen. I can tell you right now that I am probably more interested in ECW and WCW and independence more than I would be WWF.
And that is because, like I say, I'm like neck deep in it, so I don't really need any more of that stuff. I've got probably as much footage of WWE as they have. So I'm much more interested in WCW, ECW, independence. I'd love to know people's travels, and also not only that, but if you have unique stuff, magazines, books, posters, that type of thing. I'm always interested in that. It's not just the videos, it's not just the DVDs. If you have cassettes, CDs, posters, books, any of that type of thing, whether it's WWF, WCW, ECW, all that stuff, I'm always interested in that kind of a thing. I don't have a lot of that type of thing, so, the more obscure the better, and the better condition it's in, the more money you would, get for it, which is going to be the true for any collectible type of item. So keep that in mind as well when you're sending your list of stuff that you are interested in selling. With independents, if it's a local independent, if you know of the group and they're still active, or even if they're not active, hey, send a link to their website, to their shows. I'd love to see some of the history of these independents, where they're located, what shows are they running, what areas do they run, all that good stuff. If they're still active, hey, maybe, we can work out a deal to carry their merchandise and add them to our catalog too. That'd be real kind of cool as well. So I think that's pretty much everything for MTV and her plugs. So I think until next time, we'll see you next time, Front Row Ringside.